He visited her grave every Sunday. Same time. Same flowers. Same crushing guilt. But this Sunday was different. 2 homeless boys sat by his wife's headstone, filthy, shivering, no older than 8. When Nathaniel Cross asked what they were doing there, the smaller one looked up with his wife's exact eyes and whispered 4 words that shattered his world. She was our mummy. His wife had been dead for 3 years. She never had children, or so he thought, because what those boys revealed next exposed a secret so devastating, it didn't just destroy everything he believed about his marriage. It destroyed the billion-dollar empire he built on lies. Have you ever discovered a truth that changed everything you thought you knew? Drop a comment if you're ready for this, because this story will wreck you in the best way. Nathaniel Cross was 51 years old, widowed for 3 years, CEO of Cross Pharmaceutical, worth $4 billion, and completely hollow inside. Every Sunday at 9 a.m., he drove to Oakwood Cemetery, alone. No driver, no security, no witnesses to his grief. He parked in the same spot, walked the same path, carried white roses, her favorite, Victoria Cross, loving wife, 1985 2021. The headstone said nothing about who she really was. Brilliant, warm. The only person who ever made him feel human. She died in a car accident. Instantaneous, they said. She didn't suffer, they said, but Nathaniel did. Every single day, he knelt, placed the roses, began his weekly confession. I'm sorry I wasn't there. I'm sorry I chose the merger over our anniversary dinner. I'm sorry you died thinking I didn't love you enough. The same words, every week. But this Sunday, a sound interrupted him, crying, soft, muffled. Behind Victoria's headstone, Nathaniel stood, walked around, froze. 2 boys huddled together, identical, twins, maybe 8 years old, dirty clothes, bare feet, hollow eyes. They clutched a photograph. When they saw him, they scrambled back, terrified. Nathaniel raised his hands. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. The boys didn't move. What are you doing here? The braver one spoke. We came to see her. He pointed at Victoria's grave. Nathaniel's chest tightened. You knew my wife? The smaller boy's lip trembled. She was our mummy. The world tilted. Nathaniel stared. That's not possible. The boy held up the photograph. Nathaniel took it with shaking hands. Victoria, younger, smiling, holding 2 infants. The photo was dated 7 years ago, 2 years into their marriage. Nathaniel's throat closed. Where did you get this? She gave it to us. Before she left. Left where? The boys exchanged glances. The smaller one whispered, the place with the bad man. Nathaniel knelt to their level. What bad man? But the boys wouldn't answer. The braver one stood. We have to go. Wait. They ran, fast. Nathaniel chased them through the cemetery. But they were small, quick, desperate. They vanished into the trees. Nathaniel stood there, photograph in hand, heart pounding. What the hell just happened? He returned to Victoria's grave, stared at her name. Who were you? That night, Nathaniel couldn't sleep. He sat in his study, the photograph on his desk. Victoria holding 2 babies. His wife, the woman he thought he knew, had children he never knew about. He called his head of security. Find them. Sir? 2 homeless boys. 8 years old. Twins. Last seen. At Oakwood Cemetery. Do you have names? No. Just find them. He hung up, opened his laptop, searched Victoria's old files, bank statements, emails, calendar, looking for something, anything. Hours passed. Then he found it. A bank account he didn't recognize. In Victoria's name. Opened 9 years ago. Monthly withdrawals. Always the same amount. $5,000. The last withdrawal was 3 years ago. The month she died. Nathaniel traced the payments. All went to the same place. Mercy House Children's Home. 40 miles outside the city. He left immediately. Arrived at dawn. The building was old, run down. A woman answered the door. Suspicious. We're closed. I'm looking for 2 boys. Twins. About 8 years old. The woman's face changed. Are you police? No. I'm there. I knew. Their mother. The woman studied him, then stepped aside. Inside, children's voices echoed. The woman led him to an office. I'm Dorothy Kane. I run this place. Nathaniel Cross. Recognition flashed in her eyes. The billionaire. Yes. Why are you looking for the Blake twins? Blake? That's their last name. Timothy and Thomas Blake. Nathaniel's mind raced. Not Cross. Blake. Where are they? They ran away 2 weeks ago. We've been searching. Why would they run? Dorothy sighed. Because the state's shutting us down. The boys were supposed to be transferred to separate facilities. Separate? Budget cuts. No one wants to take twins together. Nathaniel felt sick. You said their mother. Did you know Victoria Cross? Dorothy pulled out a file, handed it to him. Inside were documents. Intake forms from 7 years ago. Mother's name, Victoria Cross. Father's name, unknown. Reason for placement. Mother unable to care for children. Nathaniel's hands shook. She brought them here, visited every month. Until 3 years ago, when she died. Dorothy nodded. The boys have been waiting for her ever since. Nathaniel's voice cracked. Why didn't she tell me? Dorothy's expression softened. Maybe she was protecting you, or them, or herself. From what? I don't know. But those boys loved her, and they're terrified of someone. The bad man. You've heard that too? What does it mean? Dorothy shook her head. They won't say. But Timothy has nightmares. Screams about a man who hurts people. There. Nathaniel stood. I need to find them. So do I. Before something bad happens. Where would they go? Dorothy thought. They loved their mother. Maybe they'd go where they feel close to her. The cemetery. Nathaniel drove back. Searched for hours. Called their names. Nothing. He returned to Victoria's grave. Sat down. Exhausted. Then he heard it. A small voice. You came back. Nathaniel turned. Timothy and Thomas stood there, holding hands, shaking. I did. Why? Because I need to understand. The boys sat, cautious, ready to run. Nathaniel spoke gently. Victoria was my wife. The boy's eyes widened. You're him. The important man. Thanks for watching. And subscribe to watching. And then becoming dollars. She talked about me. Timothy nodded. Said you were busy. That you saved people with medicine. Thomas added quietly. She said you didn't know about us. Why not? Timothy looked down. Because of the bad man. She said he'd hurt you if he knew. Who is the bad man? We don't know his name. But he scared Mommy. Did he hurt her? Both boys went silent. Then Thomas whispered, we think he made her go away. Nathaniel's blood ran cold. Go away, how? The car accident. Are you saying it wasn't an accident? Timothy pulled something from his pocket. A crumpled letter. In Victoria's handwriting. He handed it to Nathaniel. Nathaniel read, my darling boys, if you're reading this, something has happened to me. I need you to be brave. The man I told you about, he's dangerous. I tried to protect you by keeping you hidden. I tried to protect Nathaniel by keeping him in the dark. But if I'm gone, the truth needs to come out. Find Nathaniel. Show him this letter. He'll know what to do. I love you both. Forever, Mummy. Nathaniel's hands shook. She knew she was in danger, and she died trying to protect us all. If someone you loved kept a devastating secret to protect you, could you forgive them? Tell me in the comments. Nathaniel took the boys home. His penthouse had never felt so empty, or so full. Timothy and Thomas stood in the foyer, staring at marble floors and crystal chandeliers. You live here? Nathaniel nodded. It's too big for one person. The housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, appeared. Her eyes widened at the filthy children. Nathaniel. What? These are Timothy and Thomas. They'll be staying with me. Mrs. Chen recovered quickly. I'll prepare the guest rooms. And draw baths. They need food too. Already on it. She ushered the boys away. They looked back at Nathaniel, uncertain. It's okay. You're safe here. After they were clean and fed, Nathaniel sat with them. I need you to tell me everything about the bad man. Timothy picked at his food. We never saw his face. But you heard him? Thomas nodded. He came to the home once. Looking for us. Miss Dorothy said. We didn't exist. When was this? Right after Mummy stopped visiting. 3 years ago. What did he want? Timothy's voice dropped. He said we were loose ends. Nathaniel's jaw clenched. Did he say anything else? That Mummy made a mistake. And mistakes get cleaned up. The words hit like bullets. Victoria didn't die in an accident. She was murdered. That night, Nathaniel made calls. To lawyers. Investigators. People who owed him favors. He wanted answers. By morning, he had a name. Carter Webb. Victoria's former business partner. They'd run a small research firm together before Nathaniel met her. The firm went bankrupt. Webb disappeared. Victoria never mentioned him. Nathaniel dug deeper. Found sealed court documents. A lawsuit. Webb versus Cross Pharmaceutical. Filed 8 years ago. Claiming Nathaniel stole research. Research Victoria had developed with Webb. The lawsuit was dismissed. Insufficient evidence. But Webb had threatened Victoria. Publicly. Called her a traitor. Said she'd pay. Nathaniel's company was built on that research. The cancer drug that made billions. Victoria had given it to him. Said it was hers to give. But what if it wasn't? What if she'd stolen it from Webb? And what if Webb wanted revenge? Nathaniel found Webb 3 days later, living under an alias in a rundown apartment. He knocked. Webb answered. Older. Bitter. Eyes. Full of hate. Recognition flashed. Nathaniel Cross. We need to talk. Webb laughed. Nothing to say. Victoria's dead because of you. Webb's smile vanished. Prove it. I will. Webb stepped closer. She betrayed me. Took everything. Gave it to you. So you killed her? I didn't have to. She did that herself. What does that mean? Webb's eyes gleamed. She couldn't live with the guilt. Drove herself off that bridge. It was ruled an accident. Was it? Nathaniel grabbed him. Slammed him against the wall. Did you threaten her? Her children? Webb's face twisted. Children? The twins. Timothy and Thomas. I don't know what you're talking about. Nathaniel released him. Confused. You didn't know about them? Webb shook his head. Victoria had kids. Hidden at Mercy House for 7 years. Webb actually looked shocked. Then who? The same question Nathaniel had. If Webb wasn't the bad man, who was? Nathaniel returned home. The boys were drawing. Mrs. Chen watching over them. He sat with them. I need you to think carefully. Did the bad man ever say a name? Thomas shook his head. But Mummy did once. What did she say? That he was family. Nathaniel froze. Family? She said blood doesn't make family. But he thought it did. Nathaniel's mind raced. Victoria had no siblings. Her parents were dead. Unless... He pulled up Victoria's family tree. Found something he'd forgotten. A cousin, Richard Vale. Victoria's only living relative. Nathaniel had met him once. At the wedding. Vale was charming. Successful. A lawyer. Victoria had seemed uncomfortable around him. Nathaniel thought it was old family tension. But what if it was more? He searched Vale's name. Found his practice. Corporate law. High-profile clients. Then he found something else. A sealed adoption record. From 9 years ago. Richard Vale attempted to adopt twin boys. Application denied. Mother refused to terminate parental rights. Mother's name. Victoria Cross. Nathaniel's blood ran cold. Vale tried to take the boys. Victoria refused. So he what? Killed her? Why? Nathaniel dug deeper into Vale's finances. Found debt. Massive debt. Gambling. Bad investments. Then 3 years ago, a sudden influx of cash, right after Victoria died. Life insurance. Victoria had a policy, $2 million. Beneficiary. Richard Vale. Nathaniel called his lawyer. Can a cousin collect life insurance? If they're named beneficiary? Yes. Why would Victoria name him? Maybe she didn't. Policies can be changed. Nathaniel requested the original policy documents. They arrived the next day. Original beneficiary. Timothy and Thomas Blake. Changed 6 months before Victoria's death. New beneficiary. Richard Vale. Victoria's signature on the change form. But Nathaniel had seen Victoria's handwriting enough to know. This wasn't hers. He showed the boys a photo of Vale. Do you recognize this man? Both boys went pale. Thomas started shaking. That's him. The bad man. Are you sure? Timothy nodded. He came to the home, told Miss Dorothy he was our uncle, that Mummy wanted him to take us. But she didn't. Miss Dorothy said she needed proof. He got angry. What did he do? Said we'd regret it. That was 3 years ago? Right before Mummy stopped coming. Nathaniel's hands clenched. Vale killed Victoria. Forged the insurance change. And when the boys became loose ends, he tried to take them. When that failed, he waited. For the home to close. For the boys to end up in the system, where they'd disappear. Not anymore. Nathaniel made one call. To the FBI. Gave them everything. The forged documents. Vale's financials. The boys' testimony. The boys' testimony. Within hours, agents raided Vale's office. Found more evidence. Emails. Plans. Proof of murder. Vale was arrested that night. Nathaniel watched the news. Prominent attorney. Charged with murder. It was over. Timothy and Thomas sat beside him. Is he gone? Yes. Forever? Forever. Thomas leaned against Nathaniel. What happens to us now? Nathaniel looked at these boys. Victoria's sons. Her secret. Her sacrifice. What do you want to happen? Timothy spoke quietly. Mummy said you were good. That you'd take care of us. If something happened. She said that? In the letter. The one we didn't show you yet. He pulled out another folded paper. Handed it to Nathaniel. This one was addressed to him. When the busy time. Those, Nina. Those addressed to Dusas. My dearest Nathaniel. If you're reading this, I'm gone. And you've met our sons. Yes, our sons. Not by blood, but by choice. I was their foster mother before we met. I couldn't have children. But Richard found out. He wanted to adopt them for the insurance money. When I refused, he threatened everything. I hid the boys to protect them. And I never told you because Richard threatened to destroy you too. I know this is unfair. I know you didn't sign up for this. But Nathaniel, if you can find it in your heart, please love them. They're good boys. They deserve a father. I'm sorry for the secrets. I'm sorry for everything. But I'm not sorry for loving you. Or them. Forever yours, Victoria. Nathaniel's vision blurred. She'd been protecting everyone, at the cost of her own happiness. He looked at the boys. Your mother loved you very much. We loved her too, and she was right. You deserve a father. Both boys looked up, hope in their eyes. Would you want that father to be me? Timothy and Thomas nodded. Nathaniel pulled them close. Then that's what I'll be. The adoption process took 6 months. Nathaniel hired the best lawyers. But it wasn't about money. It was about proving he could be a father. He'd never changed a diaper, never helped with homework, never tucked anyone into bed. But he learned. Mrs. Chen taught him. The boys were patient. Slowly, the penthouse became a home. Toys appeared. Laughter echoed. The emptiness faded. Timothy loved books. Nathaniel read to him every night. Thomas loved building things. They constructed elaborate towers together. Both loved hearing stories about Victoria. Nathaniel told them everything, how they met, her laugh, her kindness. The boys told their stories too, how she visited every month, brought cookies, sang them to sleep. They healed each other. One morning, Timothy asked a question. Can we call you Dad? Nathaniel's throat tightened. I'd like that. Thomas climbed into his lap. Dad. The word had never sounded so perfect. The adoption was finalized on a Tuesday. Judge signed the papers. Timothy and Thomas Cross. Official. Nathaniel took them to Victoria's grave. Told her the news. The boys placed flowers. We have a dad now, Mummy. And you were right. He's good. Nathaniel's tears fell freely. Thank you, Victoria. For everything. Months passed. The boys thrived. New school. New friends. New life. But Nathaniel noticed something. Timothy had nightmares. Thomas was afraid of strangers. Trauma didn't disappear with love. He got them a therapist. Attended sessions with them. Learned about patience. About healing. About being present. One night, Thomas crawled into his bed. Bad dream? Thomas nodded. What if the bad man comes back? He can't. He's in prison. Forever? Forever. Thomas relaxed. Dad? Yeah? I'm glad Mummy knew you. Me too, buddy. Me too. A year after the adoption, Nathaniel made a decision. He stepped down as CEO. The board was shocked, but Nathaniel was certain. I missed everything with Victoria. I won't miss this. He stayed on the board, but his priority was clear: family. He coached Timothy's soccer team, built science projects with Thomas, attended every school event. Other parents whispered, "That's Nathaniel Cross, the billionaire." But to his sons, he was just dad, and that was everything. 2 years later, Timothy asked about their birth parents. Nathaniel told them the truth. He didn't know. Victoria never said. "Does it matter?" Thomas asked. "Do you want it to?" Both boys shook their heads. "Mom chose us. You chose us. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough." Nathaniel hugged them. More than enough. On what would have been Victoria's 45th birthday, they planted a tree. In the backyard, a cherry blossom, her favorite. The boys made a plaque. "For Mom, who loved us first." Nathaniel added his own. "And taught me how to love." They stood together. A family, not perfect, but real. Have you ever found family in unexpected places? Share your story below. 5 years after the adoption, Timothy found something. A box in the attic. Victoria's things. Nathaniel had stored them away. Too painful to look at. "Dad, what's this?" Nathaniel came upstairs. Saw the box. "Your mother's belongings." "Can we look?" Nathaniel hesitated, then nodded. Together, they opened it. Photos. Letters. Journals. Letters. Thomas held up a small envelope. It had their names on it. Timothy and Thomas. In Victoria's handwriting. "Open it," Nathaniel said. Softly. Inside was a letter and 2 birth certificates. The boys read silently. Then Timothy looked up. "Our birth mother. She died, having us." Nathaniel's chest tightened. Thomas continued reading. "She was Victoria's sister." Nathaniel took the certificates. Saw the mother's name. Sarah Cross. Victoria's younger sister, who died 12 years ago. He'd met her once. Briefly. Never knew she was pregnant. The letter explained everything. Sarah got sick during pregnancy. Refused treatment that might harm the babies. Made Victoria promise to raise them. Died 2 days after they were born. Victoria kept that promise. Loved them as her own. Never told anyone. Not even Nathaniel. Timothy's voice was quiet. "So Mom was our aunt? By blood. But your mother, in every way that mattered." Thomas wiped his eyes. "She gave up everything for us. That's what love does." The boys were quiet, processing. Then Timothy spoke. "We have her eyes. People always said that. Because you're family. Real family. Forster. Real family. Real family. Real family. Real family. Real family." That night, Nathaniel added to the plaque, by the tree, Victoria Cross. Sister. Mother. Hero. Mother. Hero. The boys stood with him, grateful, loved, home. Richard Vale died in prison. Heart attack. Nathaniel felt nothing. The man didn't deserve his thoughts. But he told the boys. They had a right to know. "Is it bad that I'm not sad?" Thomas asked. "No." "He hurt people you loved." Timothy nodded. "We're safe now. That's what matters." They were. Safe. Happy. Healing. Years continued. The boys grew. Became young men. Timothy wanted to be a doctor. Thomas an architect. Both wanted to help people. Like Mum did. Like Dad does. Nathaniel couldn't have been prouder. On their 18th birthday, he gave them each a letter. From Victoria. She'd written them years ago. Sealed with instructions. Open when they become men. The boys read privately. When they emerged, both were crying. She told them how much she loved them. How proud she was. How Nathaniel would be the father they deserved. She was right, Timothy said. About everything, Thomas added. Nathaniel pulled them close. His sons. Not by birth. By choice. By love. By showing up every single day. 10 years after that day at the cemetery, Nathaniel stood in the same spot. But he wasn't alone. Timothy and Thomas stood beside him, 23 years old now, strong, kind, whole. They placed flowers on Victoria's grave. White roses, her favorite. Timothy spoke first. "Thanks, Mum. For everything," Thomas added. "We're doing okay. Better than okay." Nathaniel touched the headstone. "You were right, Victoria. About all of it." They stood in comfortable silence. A family bound by love, not blood. That afternoon, they went to Mercy House. The place had been rebuilt, funded by the Cross Foundation. Nathaniel had bought it 5 years ago, named it after Victoria. Victoria Cross, home for children. A place where no child would be separated from their sibling, where love came first. Dorothy still ran it. Older now, but still fierce. She hugged the twins. "Look at you two. All grown up. We couldn't have done it without you," Timothy said. "You protected us when it mattered," Thomas added. Dorothy's eyes misted. "And your father gave you what you needed most." Nathaniel smiled. "They gave me more." Inside, children played, laughing. Safe. Loved. One little girl approached Thomas. "Will you read to us?" He knelt down. "I'd love to." Timothy joined him. Soon they were surrounded by kids. Nathaniel watched from the doorway. His sons, giving back, continuing the legacy. Dorothy stood beside him. Victoria would be so proud. "I hope so. I know so." That evening, at home, the boys had news. Timothy spoke first. "I got accepted to medical school." Nathaniel's face lit up. "That's incredible." Thomas grinned. "And I got the contract. To design the new children's hospital. Both of you. Following your dreams. Because you showed us we could," Timothy said. "You gave us a chance," Thomas added. Nathaniel shook his head. "Your mother gave you that." "I just showed up. That's all we needed." Someone to show up. They had dinner together, like they did every Sunday. A tradition that started years ago, one they'd never break. Later, Nathaniel sat in his study, looking at a photo, Victoria, Timothy, and Thomas, taken by Mrs. Chen last Christmas, digitally added from old photos. But it looked real, felt real. His family, complete. He thought about that day at the cemetery. 2 terrified boys. One impossible revelation, and a choice. He could have walked away, called social services, moved on with his grief. But he didn't. He showed up, every day since. And it saved him, just as much as it saved them. A knock on the door. "Come in." Timothy and Thomas entered. "We wanted to say something." Timothy started. "We know we don't say it enough," Thomas continued. "But thank you, Dad, for choosing us, for loving us, for being exactly who we needed." Nathaniel stood, pulled them into a hug. "You two are the best thing that ever happened to me." They held each other. 3 people who found each other in grief, and built something beautiful. The next day, Nathaniel returned to the cemetery. Alone this time, he sat by Victoria's grave. "They're good men. You'd love who they've become." He paused. "I understand now. Why you kept them secret. You were protecting everyone." Another pause. "I forgive you. For the secrets. For everything." The wind rustled the trees, almost like an answer. Nathaniel smiled. "Rest easy, love. I've got them. Always." Rosation. 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 He stood, placed one last rose, walked away, not sad, grateful, because sometimes the greatest gifts come wrapped in the hardest moments. 2 homeless boys at a grave, a secret that shattered everything, and a love that rebuilt it all. Years later, at Timothy's medical school graduation, Nathaniel sat in the front row, Thomas beside him. When Timothy's name was called, they stood and cheered. Dr. Timothy Cross, the boy who had nothing, now a man who would save lives. At the reception, Timothy gave a speech. He thanked his professors, his brother. Then he looked at Nathaniel. "Most of all, I thank my father, who taught me that family isn't about biology. It's about choice, commitment, love, The room applauded, but Nathaniel only saw his son, proud, strong, loved. That night, back home, Thomas showed them sketches. The new children's hospital design. It's beautiful, Nathaniel said. I'm calling it the Victoria Cross Children's Medical Center. Nathaniel's eyes filled. She'd like that, Timothy added. A place where kids get second chances, like we did. The three of them sat together, in the home that once felt empty, now overflowing with love. On Nathaniel's 65th birthday, the twins surprised him. They'd written a book, our story, how a billionaire became our dad. Not for money, for other kids in the system. To show them families come in all forms. Nathaniel read it that night, cried at every page. Not from sadness, from joy. His sons had taken their pain and turned it into hope. The book became a bestseller, inspired policy changes, helped keep siblings together, started a movement, and it all began with 2 boys at a grave, and a man willing to listen. Sometimes life gives us second chances in the most unexpected ways. Nathaniel lost his wife, but found his sons. The twins lost their mother, but gained a father, and together, they built something beautiful from the broken pieces. If this story touched you, subscribe and turn on notifications. Drop a comment and tell me, do you believe some people come into our lives exactly when we need them? Or share a time when you found family in an unexpected place. Every story matters, and if you know someone who needs hope today, share this with them, because love doesn't need biology. It just needs someone willing to show up. Until next time, remember the greatest legacies aren't built on money or power. They're built on love. Stay kind, stay open, and keep believing. The end.